Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first online event of this year's May Online Festival. I'd like to welcome this evening Saverio Florimonte, who I think everybody knows from Cicchetti. Um, I think we in the original advert for this event explained a lot about Saverio and his background, and I'm sure he's very well known locally anyway. And this evening he's going to talk to us, I believe, about wines from the Piedmonte. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Saverio. Please, can you keep yourselves on mute until the end of the talk, when I'm sure Saverio will be happy to answer questions. Thank you.
So I will start?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this invitation. And on behalf of myself, my family, and most of our colleague in Cicchetti, we like to thank you to the organization of this mini festival, which has been so far fantastic. It's been a pleasure to be here talking about Italian wine. As I said before many times, we've been now in Radyr for I think about 6 years or 7 years. We've been invaded rather, but I think we've been accepted, or we are honorary radiant, I don't know what the word is saying, and we've been supported by you, thanks to you. I think we are doing a good job to be there. Thank you again for everything you do for us. Okay, today, as you know, I come from South Italy, and my area, which a lot of people know, is well known for the oil, mainly olive tree everywhere, but not for wine. The wine we make in our area are mainly for domestic use and not for selling. Very few make some wine for them. That's the reason why I choose today a region which is, for me, is one of the best region who produce the best wine, mainly red and white in Italy, which is Piemonte. It's a region which is always fascinating me for different, not just for the wine, but for the history of wine. It's a region which is it was a spring. They started the unification of Italy, the springboard of Italy, which before the kingdom of Italy, a man, Cavour Benso di Cavour, after the invasion of many countries, including the Celtic, before this the Romans, and then we had so many invaders, even Muslim, and then the French, which was Piemonte was part of France until 1800, and then eventually we fight it. I guess also there was the Austrian Empire too, so eventually started from Piemonte, from Turin, started the unification of Italy. Italy is a new, really, only recently has been unified, because before they were small kingdom. So that's why the Italian politics is in a mess. Anyway, this is a bit of history about Italy. Anyway, but talk about Piemonte. Okay, Piemonte is a region, very fertile region, underneath the Alps. On the west is France, on northeast is Switzerland, and then you benefit from the breeze of the Mediterranean, which is Genoa and Cinque Terre, which is a UNESCO heritage site. But also the capital, Turin. Turin is also associated with industry, heavy industry, mainly mechanic, Fiat, and all the best the car designer, Giugiaro, Pininfarina, Bertoni, they were there. They're still there. But also Turin is a beautiful city. It's the capital, but also is having a very, very famous Egyptian museum, archaeological museum, anthropological museum too. And then you have Alba, which is the city of Ferrero, and all the Olivetti, all the things. And also is there's a river Po, which is it feed the agriculture, which is a main industry. So this is Piemonte. Piemonte is famous for also for slow food movement, thanks to the agriculture side, and also for the red wine and Barolo, Barbaresco, which a lot of experts, they know about only Barolo and Barbaresco, but there are a lot better wine. For example, the wine which I talk tonight is a white wine made with a grape. It's called Cortez, and the wine is called Gavi. Gavi is a small village of near Alessandria, which is not far from Genoa. So doesn't mean it benefits from the ice cold of the Alps, and the breeze of the Mediterranean. Is a fantastic terroir, which, you know, only white wine could be really, they find the right place. Piemonte is also resemble a bit like Burgundy, rich in food, in agriculture, and unique cuisine, very elegant, full of truffle. Piemonte is famous for the white truffle, unique in the world, very expensive, but also black. Again, in Burgundy, there are two grapes, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, which they make, you know, elegant wines. Chablis, other wine, Montrachet, all the different wines. In Piemonte, it's exactly the same. You have Cortez for the white and Nebbiolo for the red. Nebbiolo is for the famous Barolo, Barbaresco, or the wine. So we talk about Cortez wine, which is Cortez is a wine very high acidity, with a lot of acidity. And because this kind of cold air from the Alps and hot air for the Mediterranean is not a grape which travel well. That's why Cortez wine grapes you only find in this region. You don't find like other grapes like Chardonnay, Sauvignon, or Sangiovese, which they spread all over, or Trebbiano, or Montepulciano, or Grillo, all over Italy. Cortez is just there. For who doesn't know Piemonte, this is the time to go, because it's a fascinating region, really beautiful. It deserves for a visit. Perhaps not now because of this situation, but in future, I think it deserves. There's so many things to see. What I have to, before I start to talk about the Cortez wine, I would like to talk about other wine of the region, like the Barolo, which is a very powerful wine too, or Barbaresco, or Barbera. They all wine come from this region. So we start to talk with the Cortez wine. I think during our wine testing through the few years which we've been doing, several times we tested different vintage of Gavi. Now Gavi, the wine Gavi, take the name of Gavi. Gavi is a town, a small tiny village. With the region of Gavi is also surrounded by about 14 villages. which all produce Gavi, and they use Cortez wine. By law, by this kind of syndicate, you only can call Gavi di Gavi because the appellation, because it's a Gavi di Gavi is a reserve wine. Gavi is an ordinary wine. Doesn't mean it's a bit confusing. I try to be a bit better, more clear. Okay, to make Gavi. Okay, first of all, Gavi is a town, is a village, and also the wine is called Gavi. Then there is a reserve wine it's called Gavi di Gavi. Doesn't mean in English it doesn't mean Gavi from Gavi. So the actual grape had to be to be called Gavi di Gavi had to be around about 20 kilometers about the Gavi village. Otherwise, if it's outside this kind of perimeter, they all be called Gavi. But this doesn't mean the Gavi is not good. It's still good, but Gavi di Gavi is a reserve. It costs more, and also it stay longer in stainless steel tank. That's the only difference. Now we have today a producer which we've been Conte di Alari, which we've been known for many years, is a respectable winery. It goes back to 400. The family goes back to 400 years when the actual Gavi started. Gavi started just after the phylloxera, which was a disease of the wine worldwide. Just a few years later, when all the clone and they start to come back to Europe from South Hemisphere or America or something. And this Cortez wine, this Cortez is an indigenous grape. So it was before when they started, it was related to this different vine, then it became a single one. So since then, they start to make excellent wine every year. Some experts, they compare this Gavi di Gavi, to a very good Chablis. I agree with you because sometimes testing a Chablis or testing a Gavi di Gavi, sometimes I don't see the difference. Although the Gavi is more floral, more acidity, more citrus. But there's a kind of connection with Chablis, which is a Chardonnay, and Cortez is not. It's completely different. It's an isolated vine. So let's start with this one. Any questions so far? Hello?
I think we've asked people to wait till the end to ask questions, Saverio.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to ask you. Italy is not very popular in general for white wine, mainly red wine. We know the usual one, which is mainly the wine from Montepulciano, Chianti, Barolo. But don't forget, Italy's got over 1,000 of variety of wine. Small, some, for example, I've been in this trade for many years, selling wine and things like that. And I was surprised the other day. I was invited by somebody here in Penturk, and they offered me a wine which it surprised me a lot. I never heard about it. It was called Coolby. I said, my God, I thought it was an Australian wine. Testing, and I said, no. He said, no, it's Italian. The first time I know I was in a 5-star hotel in Russia, and since then I fall in love with this wine. Now I ordered 75 cases from because you can. There's no import in Britain, so I buy directly. And when I went I didn't ask for the price, so I went home. I did some search. and the wine is £90 a bottle. So yeah, this chap had a 97 bottle in the cellar, you know, but it was an excellent wine. Again, I didn't know anything about, I never heard about this one. But there's really a lot of them. But I have to say, because of the pandemic and the restaurants have been closed for a long time, hotels or cruise line and things like that. So there was a lot of wine unsold. So there was a surplus in Italy of really a lot of wine. So now supermarkets like Lidl, Aldi, or the Tesco, things like that, they're buying all kinds of wine now for really reasonable price. And not just ordinary, you know, Chianti or Montepulciano, but now you find a really unusual wine, which they are fantastic for good value for money. We are changing also the wine list in Cicchetti. I don't want advertising Cicchetti now, but we talk about wine, and we have a very good, nice list of wine for the restaurant, also for the public to buy a bottle too, and they will find some interesting wine. I hope you will be happy about that. Let's talk about this wine, this Gavi di Gavi. Okay. First of all, when I fell in love with this wine because the actual smell of the wine. You feel straight away when you drink, before you drink, smell the citrus of the lemonly of the wine. There's a mix of lemon and orange, you know? Completely different than the Sauvignon or the Chardonnay. It's got a distinctly taste, you know, just a flavor. It's deserved to explore this wine. Definitely, you need to explore this wine. I saw, although we sell it in Cicchetti, we sell it this wine, or we got two Gavi, but there are a lot of places you can buy it. A couple of days ago, I went to Aldi's or the other one, Lidl's, and I saw a Gavi. I couldn't believe my price, my eyes. The price was so low. I don't know how they do that. But again, because what I said before, there's so much wine unsold, so they have to sell it. They have to give away in order to make place for the next vintage. Otherwise, it would be a problem. So I think it's a good time to buy wine too. You know, the pandemic it's not really hasn't been bad for everybody. Somebody made some money too. So as I was saying, you know, drinking this wine is a wine not for special occasions. It's a wine, you know, can be drunk because the price is not expensive. But also another things about wine. Although this wine is the good things about the wine is it's a low in alcohol. Is only 20%. You never find a kind of Gavi, even a Reserva, more than 12.5%. There are some wine from Burgundy, they go 13.5%, 14%. So it's not. That's why I like it. It's you know, it can maintain a good balance of alcohol. Smell very floral. Is and wine which is nice to drink outside in your patio, not tonight, but with the sun shining, or reading a nice book, and perhaps you have a couple of glasses of wine. Look at the color of this wine. If we compare the wine to the bottle, you have this kind of a yellow, light yellow wine. It's all to do with the sun, because the region of Piemonte is full of sun. It's been because of where it's located. Gavi is located, it's just above the Ligurian coast, Alessandria, on the center. So you have about 300 days of sun. The Liguria is famous for the Riviera, famous for, in the 50s and 60s, was famous for the British people. Even the Queen Mother used to go there for holiday. So this wine benefit, especially for this. Sun needs, the wine needs sun. It's important. I can smell the sun inside the cup. It's worth to drink. This wine, if I tell you the price, it's in our shop, it's just about £10 a bottle. And it's a good value for money for the quality of the wine. I don't know if you had, have you had the wine before, the Succavi before? I don't know, in part of the during the wine club. Perhaps it's an alternative to wine which you drink every day. It's a wine which goes really well with a nice antipasto, a lot of fish, and pasta, spicy pasta too, which it goes well, you know. Full of, this one is about 12% alcohol content. It's 2019, and the producer of this wine, he does two different wines. He does a Cortez sparkling, because they do also sparkling wine. They do agave, and they do agave di Gavi, which is a reserve one, which you haven't got, unfortunately. They produce about totally of this wine is about over 1 million bottles a year. Which I think it looks like a lot, but it's not really. For a winery, it needs a kind of volume to them. And they sell all over the world. Mainly they sell to the restaurant industry, hotel and restaurant industry. We have been dealing with this wine for over 10 years. We never really had bad wine. We always stable. You know, we never had really, just always we had the compliment of this wine. It's got a kind of particular taste for a typical of Cortez wine. How do you say? Is a wine which keep you happy. Once you start to drink, you will buy another bottle, because it's a very unique wine. It's not. It's got some identity. The wine. You can recognize the Gavi straight away. It's different than, as I said before, of Sauvignon. Doesn't matter if it's a Sauvignon Blanc from France or from New Zealand, or the same of the Chardonnay. There's so many Chardonnay around from everywhere. Chardonnay is travel really well, but Cortez is unique because it's all to do with the terroir. It's a very fertile area. and that's what he's got his unique taste. I think that's what I will say about wine. That's it.
Thank you very much, Saverio. I'm sure people will have quite a few questions. I wonder if I could just ask. You mentioned we obviously mentioned Gavi di Gavi and Gavi. Is Gavi di Gavi, or in your opinion, would you say it was generally a nicer wine than Gavi, or is it just the difference as a geographical area?
No. Well, as I said before, they call Gavi di Gavi because it is in this area of 12 miles. Because among Gavi town, there's about 14 commune, a small village, and they all produce Gavi di Gavi because it's not because it's better, because it's a reserve. The Gavi di Gavi is a reserve. Is before the bottling is in stainless longer than this one. So doesn't mean the reason why it costs more is because they release later in the market. More you keep, more the price it costs, costly effective. That's the only reason why. But in terms of quality, there are some Gavi the same level of Gavi di Gavi. You know.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there do seem to be lots of different Gavis around, because I think most of the supermarkets now seem to have one.
Very popular. Yeah. That's why I said, but not just Italian wine, because it's about you know, if you I reading a good information about wine is the Financial Times every Saturday night, Saturday weekend, is a journalist which is fantastic, called Jancis Robinson. I don't know if you know about, and she writes some article, beautiful article. You know, this week I was amazing. I was shocked about it. I know wine is grow all over the world, you know, just you know, but she mentioned few wines now produced in Ethiopia, Lithuania, Azerbaijan, Cyprus. You know, the other day they were talking about, now it's the fashion of the wine now is Greece. All Greek wine have coming in on the market, very fashionable. You know? So India is another producer, China. So really, in few years' time, the world will be invaded, and Britain too. Britain, you know, you have Kent, Isle of Wight, which, you know, the weather climate changed. It's not like before. Now we have sun shining for many, many days. It's not like before. So therefore, every country, provided it doesn't go sub-zero, is entitled to produce a fantastic wine. And also, they have those kind of, I mentioned before, those wine fly makers, which they are expert in on making wine from scratch. They are geologists, enologists, which they start to make wine from. So, and then they follow the actual system till the end, till they produce the finished touch. So, but from Ethiopia, I was shocked. And apparently there are 2 or 3 wines which she's been testing, and she's a master wine. And she said they are fantastic. They are really red and white. So perhaps in a co-op next door to, in a few years' time, we will see some Ethiopian wine.
Possibly, yeah. Have other people got some questions? Nick, I can see your hand up, but Nick Hawkins.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. I just wonder, Saverio, whether you can tell us anything more about the history of the Cortez grape. You said that it's unique to the area, and Gavi is only made by that. But you also mentioned about the wiping out of all the vines by phylloxera. So did it survive that, or did it predate it, or is actually somewhere else?
Nick, no, I said it was after the phylloxera. They start after the phylloxera. They started planting after the phylloxera.
Okay, it was just simply, it hasn't been a cultivated grape, so to speak. It was
No, it was in the 1840. They started about 2, 3 or 4 years late after when the flocks are gone. This disease when they started. So it appeared this Cortez. We don't know what kind of connection he had. Cortez came. I think it was a kind of a blend of other vine. So really they don't know about, because it's not like another kind of clone, like, I don't know, Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio or Zinfandel, which is related to Primitivo. Cortez is unique. It's a grape which you don't hear a lot. It's just there, not even in any part of Italy too. Just in that kind of corner. No, in the next region, which is Lombardy. So it's a very tiny place.
Rod, yeah.
The great three red wines from the Piedmont area, Barolo, Barbera, Barbaresco. Has the glut caused by the pandemic led to reasonable prices for Barolo?
Yes, yes, Ron, yes. I saw Barolo around, an incredible price. Barbaresco, because at the end of the day, all the wine that have been sold in this, especially in the catering industry. So the red wine is different than white. The red wine can stay, especially Barolo. They don't care about. They can stay. They can lay down in cellars. Unless it's a cheaper Barolo, very cheap Barolo. But a good Barolo can stay years and years. Or Barbaresco is the white, which had to be sold. Otherwise, they were going bad. So, but also in order to give space to the next vintage, otherwise it would be a catastrophe. Imagine it's like you produce cars, you don't sell it, and the chain goes all the time. So imagine it would be a kind of collapse of everything.
Do they sell any wines on primeur to ensure they have enough cash for the next year round?
I used to sell on primeur, yes, before, mainly white French wine on primeur. You know what? As a matter of fact, reading some article about this year, on primeur have been the sales have been growing quite a lot, more than anything else. Mainly Bordeaux wine on primeur.
Good.
Keith? Right, yeah. You're muted.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you?
Hi. I didn't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Say it again?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
carry on, Keith.
No? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, Keith, we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, John. I hadn't realized before until Saverio's speech that I've been to Piemonte, but I didn't know it was called that. Anyway, my question is, how if I buy Gavi de Gavi, how long could I cellar it?
Gavi di Gavi,
And the red wines will take
at least 5-6 years. Very good. Gavi di Gavi Riserva, yes. It's a wine which you can keep quite.
Yes, okay. So
it depends also on the quality, how much you pay.
Yes. Yeah, well, there we are. So I've learned at least two things tonight, so thank you very much.
No, but you
I'll
know,
continue my research into it.
as I said, Kit, the good advantage of Gavi wine, you get a serious wine at a rather lower alcohol, which is very good, around 12.5%, which no other wine do. You know, just for the kind of structure of this wine, is fantastic. You know, you take like Burgundy wine, okay, all respect for the, but you know, you drink a bottle and get drunk. Like
Yes. Well, that's a general idea, isn't it? Thank you very much, Saverio. I
Pleasure.
look forward to the resumption of our wine society.
Yes. Oh,
Perhaps
yes.
we could have perhaps we could have more ladies coming.
We should have. Yeah, I agree with you. We should. I think, Kit, I drink this glass of wine with you. You have two. You have.
Saverio, so you mentioned about white wine not keeping very well, and then you just said with a Gavi to Gavi it keeps 5 years. Is this what would you expect wines normally a white wine to keep then?
This all depends. If you, I explain to you exactly. If you buy a bottle of say 5-year pound, okay, and then you keep it for 50 years, that wine is not good at all.
Yeah.
But if you buy a bottle of say 20 pound, you're bound to have some result on white wine. But I think every wine, even the best, you know, for me, the Burgundy wine from Bourgogne is the best wine in the world. For me, it just even them, a good Cortez, a good Chablis, or you know, they are no more than 10 years. You know, good, but it had to be kept in a good right place too, and look at them all the time. I mean, but it all depends also the house of where it's made and the reputation of the wine and also the price, all to do.
Thank you. Has anybody else got any questions? No?
But you know, Gavi, you know, as I said before, you know, it's a, you know, if you buy a good wine, you know, it's always dry. You know, and very elegant, especially in the finish. It's pretty aromatic with flower, peach, honeysuckle. It gives a lot of pleasure to drink. But you know, it doesn't matter if you have a food or just have as an aperitif or aperitivo in Italian. You know, it's a really is a very wine which you can drink anytime.
Karen? You're muted, Karen. Sorry.
Sorry, I was still on mute.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Hello, fine, thanks. Lovely to see you.
Woman.
I look forward to having a glass of Gavi to Gavi in the restaurant very soon.
You will have it, yeah. Yes.
You said,
Gavi?
sorry?
You know about Gavi?
No, not before. I'd heard of it, but I've never drank it. So
Have you been to Piedmont?
no, not to Piedmont. No.
I remember during our session about the wine club last year, there was some, I don't remember who, it was a member of our club, which has been cycling in Piemonte, but I don't know who. And he's been to Barolo House and Barbaresco, but I don't remember who was it.
Right. No, but something to look forward to, I think. And I was going to say, you said that it's a very drinkable wine for a sort of normal occasion or an aperitif. What would you recommend for a special occasion for us to celebrate with all of the lockdown coming to an end?
Well, for a white wine, I think for me, Gavi di Gavi is ideal wine. No, I mean, you would drink a Gavi for any occasion, a special occasion, because it's a special occasion. I think it's Gavi di Gavi is the wine which you really should drink. I don't, you see, by nature, I'm very Francophile, you know. I lived in France for many years and I like French, but because Piemonte is very, very Francophile too, because don't forget, it's been under the French rule for many, imagine Piemonte, a house of Savoy, it was under the rule of French for many, many years. So even the dialect is French there in Turin. Even imagine the kings, because Italy before the Republic there was a monarchy. And the kings, which they were come from there, and the capital was in Chambéry, which is Savoy, now is France. The kings of Italy, they couldn't speak Italian, they were speaking French. Imagine it, you know. And so Piemonte is very, very Francophile. And I like very much Piemonte, and also the wine of Piemonte, which they are related to France too.
Mm-hmm. Sounds lovely.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Colin.
Hi. Forgive
Hi.
me if I don't come on the video, but that's in use. We need the broadband width for a choir rehearsal going on upstairs. So, if you don't mind, I'll just be on audio. Our last family holiday before the lockdown was actually in Piemonte, and we stayed near Alba, and also in Turin. So I can definitely recommend. I can endorse your recommendation for the area. We loved it there. Now, my question was this: years ago, a British family at Christmas might celebrate with a bottle of Asti Spumante.
Yes, yes.
And Asti, of course, is also in Piemonte. Is there a sparkling wine today which you would recommend from that area?
What do you mean? Is that the Asti Spumante?
Well, Asti Spumante is not a fashionable wine any longer, I would imagine. And I just wondered whether it had been replaced by something that, today perhaps we drink Prosecco or one of the other wines of that kind. Is there something similar from Piemonte?
Yeah, well, talk about Gavi. Gavi does also kind of a blanc de blanc. It's a sort of champagne method, champenois, method champenois, the way of champagne is made. But only for blanc de blanc. That means only with Cortez. Usually in France, when they do blanc de blanc, they make only Chardonnay. In Piemonte, because they make a sparkling wine as just with the Cortez. It's fantastic. I tasted last year. It's really, really good. You can buy online if you want. It's called Blanc de Blanc Cortese.
Blanc de Blanc Cortese. Thank you very much.
Have your Blanc.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Well, if there's no further questions, I'd like to thank Saverio very much for his talk tonight. I thought we were going to get a talk about wine, but in fact, we've had a talk about history, geography, and wine. I think I've learned a lot about the area and the history of the area. So,
before I go, I think it's nice to organize a trip there for walking. I forgot that there was a member of our club which he went. I don't know who was. He mentions many times he went to cycling in Piemonte.
I think it was the Quakes. Helen Quick.
Yeah,
Ah,
you're
sorry.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, yes. And he
unfortunately,
said he had a fantastic. He visited so many wine company there.
I have a feeling he may be suffering from the same rehearsal that Colin's wife is.
No, he's just sent a message saying it was them, but their microphone isn't working, so he can't answer himself.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'd very much like to thank Saverio, a man that obviously has a vast knowledge of wine. It's really nice to get an expert to speak to us. So thank you very much. And there will be a little gift which we will bring along to you in the near future. So thank you very much, Saverio.
Thank you to you. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks, Saverio.
Thank you, Saverio.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to mention other events, David?
Yes, whilst people are here, just to say that tomorrow night we have a cookery demonstration by Lisa Verne from I think it's the Pumpkin, I can't remember the second word, Pumpkin something kitchen near Carmarthen, and she's going to be talking about.
What time?
It's 7:30.
Oh, fantastic.
And she'll be talking about using seasonal vegetables and making chocolate cake. And I said the only unfortunate thing about it, she was meant to come to the last festival, which we obviously had to call off. But of course, as this is a virtual one, we won't be able to taste the chocolate cake, which I think is a real pity. But otherwise, it should be an excellent talk. Wednesday, there is a talk by Chris Dow. Again, Chris, I think, is a very good speaker, very humorous speaker, about the Roman ships of Lake Nemi. And Thursday, we have the 10 of us quiz. Friday, we have a bingo evening. And on Sunday, we have an open gardens event where there are 4 gardens to people to look to. Obviously, the festival, as normal, we still have a charity, and the charity is still 10 of us Cancer Care, and will be for this festival and for the festival till the end of September. So what we will be doing is asking people, if they come along, that there are obviously 3 events, if people would like to make some sort of donation to 10 of us Cancer Care. You know, we will be collecting for them up until the end of September. So please do come along to our other events. We will be holding a festival in September, which will be outdoors, we believe, as long as things don't change. And therefore, and there we'll be looking at our sort of normal events. We'll be hoping, if we can have the number of people, for a concert in the park, for a fete, and possibly we're looking at bringing back a summer show, which will sort of have vegetables and crafts and things, which I gather was done many years ago. I've not been involved in one myself. So we're looking to have a full range of events in September as well. So we look forward to seeing you then, but please do come along to the events. And as you've seen, Colin is saying that there's a plant sale on Sunday at 11 Park Road as part of the open gardens. There are 4 gardens you can go to. It's, I think, £5, and you can go to whichever ones you like. So please do go along. I think there may still be spaces as well in the 10 of us quiz. So if people are interested, if they've got a team, there's still time to enter, I believe. But if not, I think Roseanne can probably fit you into one of the teams that they have. So thank you all very much, and I hope to see you at some of the other talks. Thank you.